I'll start with you on this one, Ryan. Can the Browns possibly live up to the hype?
What's the hype, right? So it depends on what's your expectation become of, right? It's
close to the Super Bowl.
Right. They have to do that, and I think that this team can live up to it, but that doesn't mean that they do, right? It's now become a thing where they have to win the division. This team has to make a playoff run. And if they don't, this thing is a bust, right? Nobody's looking at new DC Steve Wilkes and who's going to start at linebacker, who's going to be the safety that takes Jabril Pepper's spot. And so there's so many things that's going on with this team that if it starts out a little slow, people are going to back off them a little bit. If it starts out a little slow, people are going to feel this way. But to me, this team wins the AFC North. To me, this team does win a playoff game, and that's living up to the hype. That's the hype that you've created to be better than Cleveland Browns have been the last 2 decades. And this team will be. They'll be more exciting to watch. They'll be more fun to get on primetime, which is why they actually have primetime games. Starting the season, we're going to see them as much as we see anybody. The reason is because of the firepower, the way that they'll score points, and all of that's going to be there. But can Freddie Kitchens get it to be offense, defense, special teams? That's what's going to be the difference in the last half of the season. After being around this team in the offseason, after seeing these coaches work through OTAs, they have a plan. And if those plans work out the way that it seems that they will, this team will be representing the AFC North in the playoffs, and that's exceeding expectations to me from an actual tangible standpoint.
I think, look, if you haven't made the playoffs since the Pleistocene era, and you, like when Willie Mammoths were around, right, and then you make the playoffs, that's a good season. But I think you're right. There's a little extra to it. They got to win a playoff game. Mm-hmm. But I think if the Browns make the playoffs, win a playoff game, you can say, look, they didn't win the Super Bowl. A lot of teams didn't win the Super Bowl. One team wins the Super Bowl. That's a huge thing for them. That's a successful season, winning a playoff game. I think they're going to do it. I think, like what Baker Mayfield just did in that video, I love that. The fact that he bit it and shotgunned it that way.
First of all, it was the level at which he did it lets me know that it's the first time.
No, that's some expertise, brother. And the point is, the dog pound, are you kidding? Do you understand the grassroots love for football in Cleveland? The franchise was gone. Mm-hmm. It wasn't there anymore. And this was not some corporate sponsored, what they call AstroTurf campaign made to look grassroots, but in fact, no. This was an honest to goodness grassroots dog pound fans saying, we don't want our Browns to go. So the NFL gave them back a Browns franchise with the whole history attached. It's not the same franchise, but they keep the name, they keep the history. The fans did that. And they've been supporting this team through, I'd say thick and thin, but it's just thin. They've been supporting this team through these lean years, decades. And now they have a quarterback who is a winner in college, who's excellent as a rookie, who gets the culture. Odell, you see him relating to the dog pound. He was getting so amped up, getting them amped up. There's only one football.
Video again. I need to see it. I didn't see it fighting the can because I was reading.
There's only one football. How many guys not everyone can get the ball. When ballers are in their prime, I think Odell understands. Kareem Hunt scores that touchdown late. It's okay. It's Kareem Hunt. Mm-hmm. If Jarvis Landry gets that, that's okay because he's going to get it too. This is not like the dream team thing that doesn't work in football because the reason you got that name brand dude is he's a 29, 30-year-old running back. Not quite what he was. This receiver, there's a reason they let him. No. Odell's 26, 27 years old. All these guys are in their 20s, in their physical peaks at the same time. For a thirsty fan base, they are about to ball. This is going to be so much fun to watch.
Can I see the video one more time? Speaking of thirsty, there we go. All right, let me see that.
I mean, this video clearly tells me that Baker Mayfield is the perfect quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. Like their fan base.
That was special, right?
I've never seen that before.
Right. This is the guy. This is the guy for the Cleveland Browns. And to answer the question, can the Browns live up to the hype? What hype? Mm-hmm. What hype? They haven't been to the playoffs since Willie Mammoth.
The Pleistocene era.
Right, Willie Mammoth.
Right.
But they're not getting Browns organization hype. They're getting we're the star team together hype.
Right. Which will bring me to my next point, which it's clear that this is the slow season in the sports media cycle. Right?
Show the video one more time of Baker chugging things.
The hype here is, yes, I agree. You got to get to the playoffs, right? You have the talent to get to the playoffs, and you should win one playoff game. But that's it. I'm not expecting anything more.
It's a lot, though.
Right.
I'm not
It's not easy.
Right, and it is a lot. So the hype to me is like the expectation is now you have the talent, you should go to the playoffs, right? Now, if you don't go to the playoffs, you have all this talent and you don't go to the playoffs, that to me is going to be a bigger problem than if they don't.
It's easier to fall short of the hype than it is to exceed it. If getting to the AFC Championship game is exceeding the hype and not making the playoffs is failing to live up to it, you're more likely to fail to live up to it. But I think they're going to live up to the hype.
I think the other piece of it that we're kind of missing, I don't think the hype has an actual like tangible number of wins, right? It doesn't have a.
But what does it feel like to you though?
But my thing is this though. That's what it's going to be. What does it feel like watching the Cleveland Browns? It's not going to be when we watch the Cleveland Browns, do we feel like we're watching this group of stars like we've never seen before play together, right? If the Cleveland Browns are losing games 17-10, right, 20-14, and we're watching that, then it's going to be like, oh, this is trash. Like, I can't believe.
What if they start out that way, but then come on like
but what I'm saying, though, but
what if this team does lose with all these personalities? How are they all going to be able to handle it?
I will say this. I think the personality thing has been a little overblown. Okay. Here's why. The one guy that's new with the personality is Odell Beckham Jr., right? That personality is very different. It's explosive, but it's also a lot of times in a little bubble, right? It happens in Odell Beckham Jr. world. The other player is Baker Mayfield. He's the quarterback. That's the guy we hear from a lot, the guy that talks. Jarvis Landry, you don't hear from Jarvis Landry. And Njoku, you don't hear from them. So what's happened is we've taken these two personalities. One is a rock star, and that's why. He's not a football star, right? He's not just an athlete. Odell Beckham Jr. is a rock star. We've never seen a football player reach basketball, we don't wear helmets type status to the public.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.